Hello, I'm Lori Winslow from LoriWinslowOnline.com, and today I'm demonstrating journal page lines using shapes and tables. This is an 8.5 by 11 size page, but it will work on any size page. I added the gradient background just for some visual interest rather than plain white. I did set this in the design background. It's not just an image overlay. All right, let's get started here. I'm going to first start with shapes. We're going to go to Insert, Shapes, choose the line here. See from the, I've already set the margins, and to drag across, oops, see, let me click undo so I don't have anything there. Insert, Shapes, Line, that's my, click the Shift button and the margin and pull straight across, and that way you will get a straight line. This is probably a decent thickness for journal pages, but for today I'm going to just make it a little thicker so it's easier to see for demonstration purposes. And we can even change the color so it's a little bit darker. All right, so now we have the first one selected. We're going to right click and copy, and then I'm just going to paste multiple times. Oops, I apologize for that noise. I hit that. And that looks like about enough. I'm just eyeballing it. I should probably write it down, but once you have this made, you really don't have to repeat it again. So now I'm going to bring it down to where I think the bottom line should be. And then we just need to select all of the lines. There are a few different ways you can do that. You can use your cursor and just select them all that way. You can individually click on them, hold the Shift key, and select each individual line, which can be a bit tedious. And the other way is to do the Control A, will select everything as well. So then you want to click up here to Shape Format, come over here to Align, Distribute Vertically. Come back to Align, Align Left. So now you have journal lines ready to go. As you can tell, these are transparent. So, oh wait, before I go on to the next step, you want to save these all as a group. So now that you can tell that you have your lines, if you feel that you wanted to put another row in there, if you felt that the lines were too far apart or you had too many, you can make your adjustments. And once you're happy with the page, you want to select them all again in whatever method you prefer. And now you want to go back to Shape Format and Group and Group. That way they move all together as a group and you have one continuous image there. So I am going to now I'm going to copy this onto our next slide and paste it here. Now, because this is transparent and this is an image, if we go back to Select and Shape Format, there's no option for fill here. You can't just fill it in between the lines. So with the group selected, go back to Insert, Shapes, Rectangle. I like to just draw directly over the rectangle and then just that was there. Bring in the margins and we can make adjustments. It's going to default to whatever color scheme. Go right up here to Shape Fill. You want the Shape Fill to be white and you want the Shape Outline to be no outline. Then you're going to send to the back. So now you can clearly see your lines. It's still highlighted on here. If it wasn't, excuse me, click on this selection pane here and you can see how the rectangle is highlighted versus the group. And obviously it needs a little more space above that top line there and a little more space below here. Bring it down to the margin. Now you have a complete piece of paper. If you wanted to add another line at the top, you could to set the border, but I think it looks fine the way it is. So now the last step would be to again group everything together. So you select both the group and see here on the side, you can see where everything is selected and we're still in shape. We're going to go back to Shape Format, Group, Group. So now you have a white background and a transparent background. So you have options there. So that's using shapes. Now we're going to use tables. I'm using the table on my quick access toolbar. Otherwise you can do Insert and Table from here. You're going to choose a 1x8. That's the longest you can go with the table. So just kind of get where you think the top should be, drag it, set it at the margin and drag it across. And then right up here, use the drop down arrow and choose this one here, the No Style Table Grid, and highlight most all of the lines. Now we're going up to Layout, insert below a couple of times, and then it could probably use a couple more rows. So I'm going to just see how it's the cursor is right there in that bottom row and below, and one more. Okay, so now we have our page. This one here, though, we have the borders on the side. So what I'm going to do is, again, highlight everything, go back to Table Design, drop down Border on Borders, click Outside Borders, and make sure they're gone. It also takes the top and bottom line away, so it's still the same as the table there where, excuse me, you have that background. So now you've got this, it's easy to move, it's transparent, all one image or one group. It's not really an image. So I'm going to go ahead and copy this onto the next slide and paste. And to fill it in, you're going to go ahead and go to Table Design, make sure you have all the rows selected, and just select the white for shading, and now you have journal pages. I'm going to pause the video right here and then show you how I use these to import into other documents. Hold on. Okay, so here's just an example. This is the original planner pack. I've duplicated the front cover here. So here's the 2021 monthly planner. The second one is highlighted, and I want to make this into a journal page. So I'm going to just bring in some of those slides we just used. From the new slide here, I'm going to use the drop-down menu. Right down here at the bottom, it says Reuse Slides. And I was already in this. You may have, if it's not the file you were in, you click the Browse button and you can browse your computer till you find what you're looking for. So the first two slides were the shapes and the second two were the table. So I'm going to just bring in this one here. It's the table. Now, this one, because I have this Keep Source Formatting checked, it brought in even the brown gradient. If I have that unchecked and I click on the same slide, oh, it did bring it in. Usually it shouldn't. It would bring it in with a white background. So I don't know why it didn't. It's different. Okay, never mind. Either way, I'm going to delete this slide. We only need the transparent background anyway. We're going to now select the frame and the text box using the Shift key and delete those both, and then come here to the table, copy, and paste. And this is a little bit dark of an image now, so I would go to the image itself. See how we've got that highlighted? We can actually make this go away. We're done with that. Picture format. Go back here to transparency and lighten that up so it's a little bit nicer for journal readers. And then once you've imported this, you can delete that slide. So this way you can also just copy and paste it from other documents, but that's one way when you're in the middle of something to just bring it in, and you don't have to recreate it each time. You have it set, you know what your line width is. You can even save different line width templates, so if you want to use a variety of them, but it is easy to just shrink the lines down if you shrink the table down, and then if you like that, you can add more rows above or below by clicking on the layout. So changing it with tables is super easy, though you can make adjustments with the shapes as well. So I hope that helps, and that will help you to create a template library for you to be able to reuse your slides. This has been Lori Winslow from LoriWinslowOnline.com.